Remember, Personal Service Center, 789-6683. How does $10 a month sound with just a 3-month commitment? Remember, Personal Service Center, 789-6683. Mention WOCA and the setup fee is waived. Personal Service Center will email or text notifications to you when your packages arrive. Even scan mail so you never actually have to pick it up. Now that's service. Personal Service Center, 789-6683. Located on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street, Ocala. Look for the yellow signs.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
The most trusted name in news, Fox News, every half hour, only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
WOCA.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Gosh, we got a good lineup of guests today, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Our next guest has really captured our attention. Trish MacEnulty, I hope I'm saying her name right. She'll correct me in just a moment. She is on the phone. She wrote a book called The Pink House. It is a novel, but it draws from her real-life experiences. She is a former addict. She was incarcerated in the Florida penal system for 17 months. Gosh, it must have felt like 170 years. She's an award-winning screenwriter. She's an alumni of, like, every college in the state. Let's see, the University of Florida, University of Miami, and Florida State University, where she was awarded a university dissertation fellowship. So she's talking to us about her book, The Pink House, but I wanted to, we have her on for 25 minutes. Normally, as you probably have picked up on, when we have a novelist, we don't keep them too long because we're trying to sell a book that's got a story in it. We don't want to tell too much of the story. But in this case, she's got a story of her own that helps us maybe understand the story that's fictionalized. Trish MacEnulty, my first thing is I hope I'm saying your name right. And other than that, good morning, Trish. How you doing?
Hi, how are you, Larry?
Pretty good. Where are you calling from?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina right now.
Charlotte? Oh, you left Florida. I thought you were a Florida girl.
I have partially left Florida. I teach up here, and but crazily enough, I spend my summers in Florida.
Oh, okay. I use that word.
Everybody else leaves, but I spend my summers in Florida.
Me too. So how did I do on your last name? Let me get that right first.
MacEnulty.
How about that?
Yeah. I think you were pretty close.
Not bad, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on the air with us. So you spent 17 months in prison?
I did. It was a long time ago, though, so don't ask me too many details.
Really? But was I right? Did it feel like 170 years? Did it feel like forever?
It felt like a long time. It was pretty boring. That's what nobody tells you. It's like, my gosh, it's boring.
Well, nobody tells you. How many people do you know did time at all?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
You've known a few?
I guess I knew a few people back then. Yeah, I don't so much anymore. But yeah, it was like 1980.
Okay, and
I got out in
1980. Oh, that is a long time ago. So were you sentenced? Were you sentenced for longer than that, or was that your full sentence?
I was sentenced for 2 years.
Okay.
And so I got out in about 17, 18 months.
So that tells me you didn't do something that bad. I mean, 2 years. I mean, that sounds like a long time, and it is. But usually if you do something small, they give you a couple of years, which, can I ask what you did, or is that, you don't have to answer, but.
I was into that whole drug culture, and I was involved with people who. Did you ever see the movie Drugstore Cowboy?
No, did you, Robin?
No, I haven't
No,
seen it.
Drugstore Cowboy.
Okay, it was out a while. It was a Gus Van Sant movie. Anyway, it's about people breaking into drugstores, and I was involved with a group that did that, and everybody went down, and I went down with them.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, it sounds like you have turned your life around, which is an awesome thing to hear. So were you writing when you said you were bored? Were you able to write in prison?
I did write, and I read a lot too. That was actually one of the benefits. But you also work, and so you don't get to just sit and read books all day, which would be, then maybe I would have wanted to stay. That would be great. I could just read books all day.
What kind of work did they make you do?
Let's see. I worked in the print shop, and I was actually at Lowell.
Oh, really? What did you print?
Lowell.
Money? Did you print money? What did you print?
Print money. Yeah, that's what we should have done. We printed things for the whole system. We would print workbooks, and I don't know. I really can't remember.
Yeah,
now.
I got the
It
picture.
was really cool because they had those machines that they don't have anymore. I mean, everything's digital now, but you had to use a dark room and then print off things.
Back then, yeah. Well, that was kind of the precursor to you writing a book. I mean, you have a whole printed book that's out there now.
Right. Exactly.
So is the Pink House? It's a novel, so it's fictional. But how much of it is you? How much of it is you?
Well, that's an interesting question because after I was incarcerated, I got out. I went to University of Florida. I graduated with high honors. Then I went down to Miami, and I worked for a while in the film industry. Not in the film industry like my heroine.
No, she's a porno star.
Right.
Oh man, I wanted. I had so many questions for you. So I can't ask you those.
Yeah.
Where's my eraser? I got it. Let me take some of these questions off my list here. All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I worked in Miami for a while, and then I went to Florida State for my master's degree, and then I went back, and then I worked in journalism for a while, and then I went back for my doctorate degree. And while I was getting my doctorate, I met a woman named Evelyn Plumas-Devick, who works for the Department of Corrections, and she asked if I would help start a program to go in and work with the women in the prison in Monticello.
Oh.
So I said, Evelyn, there's something I need to tell you first. Because she had no idea.
Oh, she didn't know you had spent time. Okay.
Right. And when she found out, she said, "Oh, that's even better. This is even more perfect."
Right.
And so the two of us designed a program where we went in and taught poetry. And so we did a poetry program, and then we did an art program, and we did this drama program. So this book is more based on my work going in and working with women in prison than my own experience.
Okay, well that is interesting. You know, as you're talking to me, we had a guest on one time. She was a lady, and she was doing one of those TED Talks things, you know, and she was also working with prisoners, and I think she had also been incarcerated at one point, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, do you feel like, because the lady who invited you to do this didn't know you had this history, but do you think having the history made you more effective at doing it?
Oh, I think absolutely. I think when you go in there, and I mean, I know a lot of people who do go in and work with prisoners, and they've never been in prison, and they do an excellent job.
Yeah.
There's a woman named Leslie who does a dance program in Miami, and my own daughter actually went into the jails in Austin, Texas, and worked with women in acting. So you don't have to, but I think it did give me a certain amount of credibility with the women. And
So
it was kind of good to give them a sense of hope.
Let me ask you this, and I don't know if I'm coming out of left field with this one, but when you wrote the book, it's a novel, and so as a novelist, you're trying to tell a story. But are you also at the same time trying to leave the reader by the time they're finished reading the book? Are you trying to take them to the same place that you were trying to take the lady inmates? In other words, something that they're going to walk away and their life is going to be just a little bit better because of what the book has in it.
I think so. I think that my goal, not really intentionally, but it seems to be my goal, is to help people develop compassion, whether it's for themselves or whether it's for other people. And when I go in and I work with the women and we start writing from our hearts, and we start writing from those deep hurt places, and we share that, and other people suddenly are not judging us, that's very healing. And it helps us to learn to stop judging ourselves. And so I think, too, whenever I write, I hope that, and I think maybe even all novelists are trying to do this, is to give you that experience of being in another person's mind, being in another person's head. You can't help but become more compassionate.
And let me take that word compassionate, because the way you said it told me, and maybe I'm just imagining this, but it told me that you have hit on something that maybe most of us who had good childhoods don't realize, that a lot of times when you have a bad childhood or even a bad, maybe your childhood is good, but maybe your teenage years were bad, or something you got into became bad. And if you don't have compassion for others as well as yourself, or your whatever you're pursuing, then you're probably okay with breaking the law. You're probably okay with leaving somebody hurting, or stolen from, or whatever. Compassion will prevent you from hurting other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think I've really thought of it that way, but you are right.
I think you made me see it that way.
And you also target at-risk youth, and these youth, they're just one step away from becoming bad people. They're still on the outside. They're still not in youth jails or anything like that. But you have a sense about helping them with the programs that you're developing also.
I have worked with youth here in Charlotte. Now, it's been a while, but now I teach college students, and I do a lot of the same things with them, because everybody you meet has a story. Everybody's got something that they're dealing with, and in my classroom, it's not uncommon for there to be a few tears shed. So,
that's a good thing, because you're so genuine.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think you ladies go through that maybe us guys don't is that you are shown false compassion a lot by guys who really just want sex, and you perceive that as compassion, and then your whole world is turned upside down when it turns out that it has nothing to do with compassion. And that is the embarrassing thing that my side of this human race does, the male side does to you ladies, I think. And I can understand why somebody would have their whole life turned around just because they were made to feel worthless, or the only thing they're good for is sex.
That does happen to a lot of women, and so many of the women that I worked with in the prison in Monticello had been sexually abused by their fathers, or they had been raped by mother's boyfriends. And when that happens, you're right, they have such a low sense of self-esteem, and they have so much self-loathing that they become self-destructive, and then they don't care.
I think you're doing more than writing a novel. I think you're making a powerful statement to all of us, but to ladies in general, and specifically, I mean.
Thank you.
And your characters are not surface characters. Each of their personalities are in depth, and even though they seem to be in the dregs by the different scenarios that you create, it's not super deep and gaudy type. You allow the reader to enter that area, whichever type the characters are being spoken about, and actually feel what they're feeling.
Well, that is, I think, the goal of any good writer, is that you do want people to understand, to be able to experience through a point of view, to experience the world, have it filtered through those experiences.
Trish MacEnulty is on the phone with us. Her book is called The Pink House, and if you've been listening, you've heard a lot of background, but we haven't really been fair to the book. We want to make sure that the storyline is kind of, at least a sketch of it is told. So let's take a little break right now, and when we come back, Trish, if you could give us like the movie trailer version of the story in the book, and we'll do that in just about, looks like we've got, there's like a 3-minute break, so we'll take that break right now and be right back.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
Yeah, I'm that drip coming down from the corner of the room. But where did I come from? I'll never tell.
Bone Dry Roofing can and will fix it right the first time using quality materials and will deal honestly and fairly with you, period. You can find Bone Dry Roofing on their website, bonedryroofingllc.com, and Facebook at Bone Dry Roofing LLC. Do it right before your roof needs a tarp to keep the elements out. Bone Dry Roofing stands behind their work to help make your home safe and secure. Plus, they have financing available. Remember, if you're not bone dry, then you're all wet.
You already know texting while driving is dangerous. That's not new information, yet most people admit to doing it anyway. Drivers are 23 times more likely to be involved in a car accident while texting. Know the facts and wait to text. The danger is real and it applies to you. Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people. Information provided by Virginia Tech Transportation Institute. Visit George Mangan Insurance today at www.manganinsurance.com.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
At Palm Garden of Ocala, we ask all Americans to take a moment from their day of leisure to reflect on the brave sacrifices of those who have given their lives for this great nation. For those veterans who stay with us for long-term care, we have special Memorial Day events to honor the fallen and a barbecue to celebrate the freedoms and life we all enjoy. Palm Garden has the privilege to serve many veterans who need short-term rehab following a hospital stay. Your veteran has the freedom to choose Palm Garden for all their rehab needs.
All right. I sure hope you took your radio outside, because if you're sitting inside listening to the radio, then well, you're either driving or
Yes.
or for some reason you want to be inside. But it's just a beautiful day out there, right?
Gorgeous.
That's what I would do. I love the radio. And
We should drag our microphones out there.
Yeah, we should do that. We should do that.
Yeah.
Trish MacEnulty is on the phone. Just heard her laugh right there. Her book is called The Pink House. And just to recap what we know about Trish, she years ago, let's see, how many years ago was 1980? Was that 36 years ago? Something
Yep.
like that? Am I right?
Yep.
Trish, or 34 years ago, right? I don't know. I can't do the math.
2016.
Can't math.
So
Can't do
36.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
So you spent 17 months in the penal system. You've got all kinds of accolades for this book, by the way. And one of them is the same accolades we were going to give you, which is your character development. Again, you know what that shows me? I don't know if anybody else ever thought this about an author, but when you develop a character a lot, it shows compassion for human beings, because it's like you can be God when you're the author, right? You can make a character. You can make a person, right?
That's true. And I think each one, I mean, I'm not the first author to say this, but each character does have a part of you in him or her. But I think one of the reasons that this book was not that not as hard to write as it might have been is that the character of Lolly was based on my dear friend Kitty Gretsch, who was my daughter's godmother and who was just the type of person who always wanted to help people. I mean, she lived for helping other people. And so after she died, this book kind of was a way for me to pay a tribute to her.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. Did she die of cancer? Lolly has
Yes, she
cancer,
did.
right?
Yes,
But
yeah.
but Lolly
Kitty is
doesn't.
very much like Lolly.
Okay. So tell us the story. The protagonist isn't Lolly, though. The protagonist is Jen?
Well, I don't know. I would say that all four of the women, the different points of view, are the protagonists.
Okay.
Jen, of course, I think one thing you want in any kind of creative work is for a change to happen. And Jen is the one who changes the most. She starts off very selfish. She's only interested in drinking and partying. You know, she's trying to kind of live down her past as a porn star, so she's gone to college to get a doctorate in theater, but she hasn't really left her past behind. And she resents her sister because her sister had cancer when they were teenagers, and so her sister got all the attention.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she has the biggest arc. She's the one who changes, who becomes more humanized through working with these women and through spending more time with her sister.
And this is a great book to mirror the personalities of each character that you have, but not just that, but the personality of the reader also, because sometimes the real person can't see what others see about them on the outside.
That's true. Sometimes we just don't want to.
But that's another good thing about your characters. They had to come to grips with whatever it was that they were harboring, and that takes a skill to write something like that also.
Well, thank you. I think that is part of our purpose in life is, to come here, make a bunch of mistakes, and then look at those mistakes and own them. And then learn from them,
Exactly.
And I think we all know people who don't do that, and they're worse off for it.
Mm-hmm.
If you think you've never made a mistake and you've never done anything wrong, those people can be very judgmental, and they don't make the world a better place.
Absolutely. Oh, man. And even the Bible says there's no such person.
Yeah.
Except for Jesus.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
On the back of the book, it talks about your past, and I was thinking this as I was reading that if the reader didn't know that you had that past, the book would still be as good as it is. Mm-hmm. I think what that does, though, on the back where it talks about your past, is it helps the reader, especially the lady reader who might be incarcerated right now. Similar to the way, have you ever started to read a piece and then you looked, is this written by a man or a woman? You say, who wrote this? And then you go, oh, it's a lady who wrote this. And then so all of a sudden you have, I have a better idea. You ever do this? You wonder.
Oh, yes. I'm always curious about the backstory.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I think this is going to help somebody because it's almost like you're sitting there with them, giving them some story to take them out of there, not just because it's a story, but because it's a story that encourages compassion.
Mm-hmm. And I hope understanding. One of the things I wanted to do in this book was to recreate some of the stories that I heard. And those stories, some of that's not made up.
Right.
So,
and
I think...
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I think when you know those stories, you can't help but have a deeper understanding of, okay, why is it that people wind up in prison? Why is it that people screw their lives up? And especially if you've managed not to, which a lot of people have, although a lot of people haven't. I was looking at a statistic the other day. There's 65 million Americans have a criminal record.
Wow.
Now, yeah, there's a lot of us who've had some kind of brush with the law.
Yeah.
But I think knowing people's stories can be so helpful, and to seeing people as more than just a number or a statistic.
You're cute. I'm looking at the picture on the back of the book. Look at you with that hat.
I love the photo. I love the photo of you with your dog too.
Where's that?
Thanks.
Where's that picture?
That is such fun.
Is that in the book somewhere? It's in your prep inventory?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
I sent a picture of me and the dog.
Yeah.
Oh my
Franco.
goodness. What's the dog's name?
He's Franco.
Franco. Who's the guy on your right? Who's that guy? Is that your husband?
Oh, that's a friend of mine.
A friend?
That's a friend of mine.
Yeah, that's what they all say. I'm teasing.
He's actually from Ocala, so.
Oh, is he really?
Oh, nice.
The book is called The Pink House. Let me offer it to one of our listeners. If you call me and ask for it, I will leave it here for you. It's written by Trish MacEnulty. You can have the one that was sent to me. The rest of us have to go buy it, including me. Give us a website and other ways we can buy the book. We've got 28 seconds.
The book is available on Amazon, also through your favorite independent bookstore. And then my website is just www.trishmacEnulty.com.
Okay, Trish MacEnulty, which is spelled MacEnulty. And Robin made it easy. She put it right there on the guest list already. So if you go to WOCA.com, you'll find it there. Thank you, Trish.
It's also on Kindle.
Get it on Kindle. We'll be right back. This is WOCA Ocala.
Fox News Radio, I'm Carmen Roberts. He has the numbers. AP reporting that Donald Trump has reached the number of delegates needed to secure the party's presidential nomination. You've likely heard about the long wait lines at some of the country's airports. Now we're learning how many passengers missed flights this year at just one airline.
Year to date, more than 70,000 American Airlines customers have missed flights due to excessive wait times.
Carrie Filipovich with American Airlines. She's testifying on Capitol Hill. And the Golden Arches not shining at McDonald's headquarters in Illinois today. Protesters on the scene for a second day. Fast food workers and others demanding a $15 an hour minimum wage. That ahead of the restaurant chain's annual shareholder meeting. Opponents say it would cost too much. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
I've got weeds on the sidewalk and ants in the kitchen.
I told Angie we could help get rid of both, and that she could even get one free.
Ace is the place to get rid of weeds and be bug-free. Emphasis on free.
Now through Memorial Day, buy Roundup Weed and Grass Killer and get Ortho Home Defense Insect Killer free. Buy 1.1 gallon Roundup, get 1 gallon Ortho free. Offer valid through May 30th at participating stores. Store stock only. See store for details. Limit 1.
At Geico, we've been innovating car insurance for over 75 years with forward-thinking ideas like online quotes and the Geico mobile app. And to prove it, we'll play one of our first radio commercials from 75 years ago.
By Jiminy, Geico could save you money on your car insurance, which is what we'll be doing over 75 years from now. Who knows, maybe with some sort of application that's accessible on a futuristic handheld device. We'll call them online quotes.
See? Forward thinking.
Geico, saving people money for over 75 years.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. Well, crop insurance deadline is coming up, and farmers are facing a final date to plant their crop. In peanuts, that deadline is June the 5th. That's the final deadline for most counties in Georgia, Florida, and Alabama, and part of South Carolina. Georgia has a few counties that are a deadline of May 31st to have your crop planted. That includes Jefferson, Johnson, Lawrence, Montgomery, Richmond, Troutland, Johnson, and Wilkinson. The late planting period can continue until June the 15th. That means another 15 days if needed, but the farmer will be reduced coverage of 1% per day through the late planting period. If a farmer is unable to plant for the final planting date because of drought or other reasons, the farmer may file for prevented planting and must do so within 72 hours after June the 5th. If a farmer is unable to plant during the late planting period, again, the farmer must file for prevented planting within 72 hours of the late planting deadline.
When white mold is coming, you can feel it, like a bad omen. Anyone who grows peanuts knows white mold can take a farm by storm. And there's only so much you can do about it.
Actually, no.
Excuse me?
Well, you see, now there's Elatus, the fungicide with 2 powerful active ingredients that control white mold.
I'm not buying you.
If you want higher yields, you will. Because along with white mold, Elatus controls several other diseases, which means healthier plants and higher yield potential.
You don't say.
I do. In fact, trials have shown it can produce up to 800 more pounds of peanuts per acre than competitors.
You talk like you're full of tall tales.
More like scientific research. With such long-lasting control, Elatus really can bring yields that reach for the sky.
So when white mold is coming,
we'll be fully prepared. Visit syngentaus.com/Elatus to learn more. Always read and follow label instructions.
I'm Darren Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
Attention passengers for Flight 1370. The plane has been delayed at its departure point and will be at least 2 hours late. We apologize for any inconvenience.
Are you serious? It took us over an hour to get here, 2 hours going through security and getting our tickets, and now we have to wait another 2 hours.
Yeah, it's beautiful here, but we're inside this overcrowded airport all day because the plane is stuck in bad weather.
This is the last time we ever do this. When we get back, we're going to Ocala Aviation and getting our pilot's license.
Yeah, we've been talking about that long enough. It's about time we did it. Then we could just fly ourselves and never have to deal with this mess again.
Right. No long lines, no full body groping security, no baggage checks.
Not to mention never losing your luggage. Remind me again why we haven't done that?
Well, we're idiots.
Oh, right.
Attention all passengers for Flight 1370. It looks like the plane is going to be delayed a little bit longer. The airline has lost the pilot's luggage. Isn't it time you got your pilot's license? Call Ocala Aviation today. 352-861-7484. That's 352-861-7484. Hey, you've earned it. Call today.
Career Source Citrus Levy Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source Citrus Levy Marion and learn how they can help you.
Here she is, folks.
The nuns at Queen of Angels will never be the same after Dolores moves in. Sister Act Once a Movie, now live on stage at Ocala Civic Theater May 19th through June 12th. After witnessing a murder, Dolores hides out as Sister Mary Clarence and turns the little church upside down. Call 352-236-2274 or buy online at OcalaCivicTheater.com. It would be a sin to miss it.
Cookies, 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 cookies. We go cookie eating cookies.
When you want something special and fun for any occasion, get cookies. King Cookie in the Paddock Mall in Ocala will make a delicious, fun-filled delight just for you. So next time you're in the mall, stop by King Cookie or call 352-237-2557. KingCookieOcala.com. Customized cookies, cakes, and more. King Cookie.
Eating cookies, we're so happy eating cookies. Cookies!